Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today we're going to talk about something that is probably going to offend some people, but it's going to liberate some people. And we're going to talk about dating while broke. I'm going to talk to you guys about how having too many different women or too many different people in your life can destroy you financially. I'm going to give you specific examples. I'm going to give you data. I'm going to give you the game. I'm going to give you information that will change your life in that particular area. A lot of people don't understand why their pockets are empty when they got 15,000 girlfriends or 15,000 boyfriends and they're having sex with everybody. Well, I'm going to break down for you why that trade-off might be one you might not want to make. But get comfortable, buck up, seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboystv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to say good morning to everybody. Shout out the city that you're from. Let me know what city you're from. I want to say hello to Max Jerome and Linda Reeves. And what's going on Instagram? I see you. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So if you like real conversations, follow me on Instagram at The Real Boyce Watkins. So I wanted to tell you guys what inspired me this morning to do this particular podcast episode. And by the way, I'm on Spotify and whatnot. If you look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, you can find it there too. I was thinking about something. I saw a conversation on a page that's owned by a friend of mine by the name of Jamar Montgomery. And he was playing a quote from a guy named Charleston White. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard Charleston White or not, but Charleston White is really interesting. He's a really smart guy. He has a lot of interesting things to say, and he's not scared to say it. And Charleston was making a point that I thought was really interesting and reflective of a type of maturity that I think men figure out as time goes on. He was really talking about some of the downsides of promiscuity. He was talking about what can happen when you fall into this. A lot of the culture that unfortunately is heavily promoted in a lot of the music you listen to, that men should just go and lay down with anything with a big butt and a smile, and just bring any woman into their life, trust any girl who's got a cute face, and he was basically saying, talk about the downsides of that in terms of marriage. So I was listening to what he had to say, and let me know. By the way, some of you are. Let's see. Someone says my speaker's going in and out. David said that. So let me know. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Okay. Let me know if I'm coming through all right. Am I coming through okay? Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me all right, because I want to make sure that my audio isn't bad. So give me a yes if I'm okay. Give me a no if I'm not okay. David says your speaker is bad. What do y'all think? Am I coming through okay? Linda says yes. Give me a yes if you can hear me okay. I want to make sure. Okay, El Haj says you're good. Thank you very much for that. David, I think it might be your speaker, brother. So so take a look at that, man. My apologies for anybody that can't hear clearly. So anyway, here's the deal. So Charleston was making this point, and I was listening to Charleston's point, and I agree with a lot of it. But then I really started thinking about this. I started thinking about the fact that whether you believe in things like marriage or even monogamy, I really started thinking about a lesson that a lot of young men especially never really get, and women too, that there is a downside to following like sort of that get it in promiscuous kind of mindset, or that culture that's out there. They always tell us what the culture is. The white people pick your culture for you because white people own BET, and then they tell you, well, this is the culture. And then a lot of people who maybe didn't get guidance follow that culture because they think that's the culture that they should follow. And then next thing you know, you end up looking like Tory Lanez on your way to prison for 20 years when Tory Lanez was about to go out and make probably $100 million throughout his career. Now he's going to be, working for $1 a day, maybe, digging holes for the state and having somebody tell him what to do until he's an old man. So my point on this is to say that when you're talking about a lot of this relationship stuff, I think that there isn't enough conversation about how this bad culture, this culture that encourages you to, as a man, to just go and just lay down with anybody, bring women into your life on a regular basis, how that can just really cost you, how that can really destroy you. And you want to see evidence of the destruction, not just financial, but also emotional. Go look at the manosphere. Go look at the manosphere. And if you're in the manosphere or you consider yourself a part of that, understand, I get it. I'm right there with you. I get it in terms of feeling the way people feel. I know that there's a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of frustration. I think that we live in a society that does not really appreciate masculinity the way that we should. And I reject a lot of that. So I get a lot of what I hear over there. But then I also hear a lot of counterproductive things, in the sense that there's a lot of complaining. There's really a lot of whining, a lot of just video after video after video. If you ever want to have a big YouTube channel, all you got to do is make video after video after video complaining about women. Complaining about women. Women do this and women do that, and well, woman did that to me, and look at what the woman did to this man. And I get that, right? I understand, right? We all understand. There are predators in both genders. Give me a yes if you agree that there are women out there that are raggedy. There are women out there that will harm you. There are women out there that will steal your money. There are women out there that will destroy you. There are women out there that will lie, that will steal, that will kill, that will do all of that. But also we must agree that every woman doesn't do that. Can we at least agree on that? Give me a yes if we can agree on that. That not every woman is a gold digger. Not every woman is a manipulative SOB. Not every woman is out here trying to ruin your life. Not every woman is going to keep you from seeing your kids, right? So when I see that, when I see a lot of complaining about women, unfortunately, I think the guys that are in that space have to be really careful, because that is not exactly masculine behavior. That just honestly, in my view, my 2 cents, this is my opinion, you're welcome to disagree, but that's not really masculine behavior, because a man is not supposed to spend his whole life whining and complaining that he's a victim. That there's something that is counter masculine to constantly calling yourself a victim. Because masculinity means you solve the problem and you say, I'm not going to be a victim no more. Give me an amen in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. That there's a point where a man says, man, I'm tired of being kicked around. I'm tired of ending up in bad situations. I'm tired of making bad choices. I'm tired of people screwing me. I'm tired of people taking from me. I'm tired of getting beat up. I'm tired of getting my feelings hurt. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this. All the real men in the building, please show your hands so you can understand what I'm talking about. There is a point where you have to say, damn, man, my last 3 girlfriends ruined me. One of them stole my money. The other one stole my kids. The other one stole my heart. I got to pick different women. I'm picking the wrong women, right? And now that's the hard conversation. That's the hard part, because you could keep picking the same women and then complaining about them. And then people will say, yeah, see, you're right. Women are terrible. Okay, they can be. We know this, but it's a little weird when you keep making the same choice, but you want to blame everybody on earth except yourself, right? When if I keep walking down a dark alley and I keep getting robbed every time I walk down that dark alley, then at some point I'm gonna stop walking down that dark alley. Or at the very least, if I go down that dark alley, maybe I'm gonna carry me some protection so that won't happen to me. I'm not gonna be a victim forever. So here's where I'm laying out this point. I think that men need more coaching on how to really avoid the culture that keeps people ruined and broke. If you want to see examples, I mentioned Tory Lanez. I'm not saying that Tory Lanez did not shoot that girl in the foot. Maybe he did. And I talked to you guys about the dangers of the mass promotion of alcohol and drugs amongst young Black men, because when you're young and you get high and drunk, you end up doing something that puts you in prison for the next 20 years and destroys everything good that you had going on in your life, right? So this guy is in a terrible situation because he followed the culture. Rapper Young Thug is down there in Atlanta right now facing more prison time than any man would ever want to face. I don't care how much of a thug he claims to be. I don't care how much of a gangster he pretends to be. I don't care how much of a tough guy he might look like when he's walking in the courtroom in those nice suits. Deep down inside, he probably has some regrets and he's probably feeling a lot of pain. I see Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was a guy who had $1 billion, basically. He had a net worth of well over $1 billion. His brand alone was worth several $1 billion. Bill Cosby, because he allowed too many women in his space. Now Bill Cosby is struggling to not go broke before he dies. Now Bill Cosby has had his reputation ruined. Bill Cosby has gone to jail at the age of 80-something. Bill Cosby does not have the money that he used to have. And a lot of it sinks back to his choices in terms of women. And so my point is to say that at some point, if you're really smart, if you're really trying to win, again, this is not a conversation for people that want to keep losing. This is not a conversation for people who don't want to have discipline. This is not a conversation for people who don't want to evolve. So if you're in that category, then you should probably walk out of the building right now. This is a category for people that want to figure it out. This is the category for people, or conversation for people that want to elevate. This is the conversation for people that want to actually have wealth and protect the wealth. One of the rules of wealth that we talk about in this on this podcast is the 4 steps of wealth. The 4 steps of wealth is 1, get financially educated so you can know where the money's at. Step 2 is make a plan to go get the money. Step 3 is to have the discipline to execute that plan so you can engage in the wealth accumulation process so that your assets will exceed your liabilities. Step 4 is learn how to protect your shit so that nobody comes along and takes it. Okay, because believe me, when you get a lot of money, fellas, you need to understand this. Women too should get this as well, because a lot of this has happened to black women too. I've seen black women get robbed because a lot of black women are doing well financially, and they run into these sexy men with I guess they like their penises or whatever they like about them, or whatever, they're romantic or whatever, and they call them hobosexuals. Hobosexuals are these guys that will literally go and lay up with women just so they can get their money. I had a friend who was doing really well. She made $300,000 a year. She was dating a guy who got her credit card and was spending thousands of dollars on her credit card, and she didn't find out till she looked at the bill. And so this happens to women too. But that 4th piece of protecting your wealth is incredibly important. And if you ever want to understand why you have so many celebrities that lose all their wealth, it's because they don't protect it. They have terrible spending habits. They go out and they'll buy Louis and Gucci at the drop of a hat. They'll go spend the money on assets that decline in value. They'll go out here and lay down with any old big booty lady they find in the strip club. And next thing you know, they're paying off women for rape charges. Look at Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson plays for the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson has a $250 million contract. The first thing Deshaun had to do when he signed with the Cleveland Browns, does anybody know about Deshaun Watson? Give me a yes if you follow Deshaun Watson's story. Deshaun Watson had 20 accusations of women saying that he was doing inappropriate stuff. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what he did. I don't know what's proven and what's not. But 20 women, really, dude? You're letting that many women around you, that many women get that close to you, you ain't gonna have no wealth. You're gonna be broke. You're going to be broke because you literally have become a host to all these parasites that you've allowed into your space. Not to say that the women weren't victims, not to say he didn't do something he shouldn't have done. That would make it even worse. But at the end of the day, letting all those people in your space, you're bringing bad energy into your space. So in a way, you got to think about your spiritual balance or your financial balance, almost like the way people thought during the pandemic. During the pandemic, you had a degree of social distancing, which said that when this virus is out there, you don't let everybody around you. You don't let everybody in your house. You don't go kissing and hugging everybody. You don't even shake some people's hands, because what they have is going to affect you. What they have is going to infect you. What they have is going to become a part of you. So ultimately, the same thing is true when you're talking about protecting your wealth. You can't let everybody up in your house. You can't let everybody up in your bed. You can't let everybody up in your life. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. If you let a lot of people into your space, eventually somebody will come into your space and take everything you have. Now, Linda says you're calling the women parasites. Some of them are. I do believe some of them are. I believe some of them, not all of them. I believe that in some cases you have, and I've definitely seen it in terms of men who didn't do anything wrong, who just had people in their space that were there to get a piece of their resources. You know, look, here's the deal. When you get money, I'm not here to have a politically correct conversation. I'm here to have a correct conversation. I'm not here to be politically correct. I'm here to be correct. I don't give a damn if people get offended by what I have to say, because I already know when I talk about this thing, some women get offended, some men get offended. There are still women that are mad at me for what I said about Lizzo, but there are some women who applauded what I said in terms of Lizzo promoting the Mammy Jezebel stereotype among black women, and then you support that stuff, and then you wonder why women don't get respected. Think about this. Why in the world would you command respect when you are supporting the idea that there are people being paid by record labels to promote the image of the black woman as a complete hoe? Like that doesn't make any sense. You got to pick a side. Same thing is true when you're talking about some of this music. How in the world are you talking about white liberals being your allies when they will dance along to a song that's calling you the N-word in every other verse? They're calling you the N-word in every other verse. And you sitting here dancing along with him. You're like, oh, he's lit. He's cool. He's a cool white guy. He's dancing to Lil Yachty. And in this verse, he done used the N-word 14 times and didn't nobody even notice it. It's weird to me. I'm not going to dance along with you if you can hear the N-word and hear me refer to in that way and not get offended. You should be offended like me. I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense. So at some point, you got to start making sense. So ultimately, I know these conversations offend people, and it's okay. I'm here to talk to the people who aren't going to get offended or who are going to get offended and say, yeah, I don't like this guy. He's an SOB sometimes. Some of the stuff really irks me the wrong way, but I'm at least listen because I need to hear another perspective so that I can protect my wealth, protect my health, and be smart about how I pursue this thing called life. Now, let me move on. Do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, hit the notification bell when you subscribe because the things I say get me shadow banned. And I think YouTube blocks our distribution. It doesn't make any sense when you have over 1 million subscribers and you can only get like a few hundred people that get notified. So hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. And also, don't forget this podcast is also on Spotify. If you look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, you can find it on Spotify and Apple. Okay, so let's get back to some of this. I'm going to read some data about Black men and economics. I found some data that will tell you just brothers, where you're at when it comes to the economic spectrum. You are not the alpha. The white man is the alpha. You are the beta right now when it comes to economics. I'm not built to be a beta, but unfortunately, some of us are committed to the beta life. And so let me find some data for you that I found earlier. I hope I can find it here. Let me look this up. Okay, dang it. I gotta find this stuff. I lost it. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. But there was so the first thing that you should understand is that the black wealth, the median wealth of a black male is far lower than that of white men. I think for black males, a median net worth is assets minus liabilities. The median net worth of the black male is about I want to say $200. The median net worth of a white male is $11,000. So women who are just, seeking men that have money, a lot of them say, you know what, I want to just go date a white guy because black men ain't got no money. Now, a lot of it is because of the history of racism, right? We know about that history. We know about all the theft that took place, etc. And I get that. But remember now, you live in a different day. A white man has never stopped me from reading a book. A white man has never stopped me from starting a business. I've never run into a white man anywhere in my life that ever told me that I was going to get arrested for taking care of my kids. So there's a point where that responsibility has to kick in, where we have to decide as men that we're going to change that narrative. So talking about what white men did to you, again, staying in that victim box, that's not very masculine. That's not how you win. That's not how you succeed. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to read some of this to you. According to a 2017 report from the Institute for Policy Studies, the median wealth of a single black woman is $200, while the median wealth of single white men is $15,640. So for black women, it's about $200. For single black men, it's about the same. It's not much higher. Also, black families only have 10% of the wealth of white families. So and then even at the very top, if you look at the top 1% of black families, their median net worth is about 1.2 million. The top 1% of white families has a median net worth of 11.8 million. So you've got a lot of work to do. You've got a lot of areas where where other folks are ahead of you and where the struggle is real. Black male unemployment is the highest in all of society. It's been like that for a long time. Black male incarceration is the highest in society. It's been like that for a long time. That is not going to change. That is not going to change. They're never going to change to a day where they want to hire you as quickly as they want to hire a white woman. That's just a fact. That's the fact. That's why I tell you guys that, and I mentioned this actually in my new book. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. So feel free to go to my website, boycewatkins.com, if you want to get a copy, or if you're on Instagram, the link's in the bio. And one of the things that I mentioned to you guys is something that is radical on the surface, but it's common sense if you really understand common sense. It's radical on the surface, but it's really common sense. And what I basically said is that every black boy should learn how to start his own business. Every black child, but really every black boy needs to learn how to start his own business, because there's so many black men who have all the degrees. They went to college, got the master's degrees, studied the trades, all this other stuff, and still can't get jobs that white men get. They still can't get the same opportunities as white people. The only men, it was ironic to find that the only group of people that make the same amount of money in corporate America as white men are gay black men. That was a weird statistic, but I did actually see that. So if you are committed to being the absolute beta, maybe there will be opportunities for you. But for those men who can't do that, then you really need to learn how to start your own business. If you want to be a king, you have to learn how to build a castle. No man will ever invite you into his house and make you the king. That's just a fact. No man will ever invite you into his place. If you moved into my house and you said, hey, Dr. Boyce, can I come live with you because I'm struggling and I can't take care of my family and I want to stay in your basement? I might say, sure, we got a big basement. You can use the basement, but you will never sleep in the master bedroom. You will never get to come into my house and move the furniture around. You'll never get to come into my house and make the rules. You will never get to come into my house and decide how things are going to happen. So if you want to make your rules, you have to get your own house. That's what I say to my son. I say, look, I get it. You're a man. You can do what you want to do, but you can do what you want to do when you leave. But when you're here, this is my domain. This is our, so ultimately, the same thing is true, I think, with the white man. I don't believe that we can have a whole community of black men that are walking behind white men asking for opportunities and then still be respected by black women as equals to white men. If you are getting on your knees and begging another man to take care of you, then a woman is going to look at that and she's going to see one man standing tall, another man on his knees. Which man do you think women are going to prefer? I'm just being honest with you. Which man do you think women are going to look at and say, I want to be next to him? I feel safer next to this guy than the other guy. I feel like I'm going to do better with him than with this guy. So ultimately, I think that we have to have these honest conversations to understand that, yeah, we got dealt a bad hand of cards. Absolutely. The life is not fair. Yeah, you are on the football team that doesn't have the best running back and doesn't have the best coaching and didn't have the most time to practice. But there is a point where you have to make a game plan or you'll be looking like TCU looked last night when they played against Georgia, which was literally the most embarrassing night ever in the history of college football, if you ask me. So anyway, let me move on. So in terms of dating, one thing that's interesting is that generally speaking, historically, we have an expectation that men are going to take a certain responsibility when it comes to dating, right? When you date, at least where I come from, if I was to ask a woman out, I always expected that there would be things I was expected to pay for. And let me just tell you, that can get really expensive, especially when you're not where you want to be financially. I remember when I was in graduate school and I met this really pretty girl, sexy as all get out, thicker than a snicker, prettiest thing ever. And she was a friend of my sister's, but she was ghetto as hell. So I went out with this girl. And I remember when we went to the movies, she ordered every single thing she could possibly get her hands on, even stuff she didn't eat. That cost me $50 at the concession stand. It was that bad. And then we went out to dinner after it. She complained the whole night. She complained about the movie. She was very negative. And then afterward, I took her to eat. And when we went to eat, she ordered all this food because she complained the whole night about how hungry she was. We ordered this expensive pizza or something at this. I forgot what the place is called, but they had that fancy pizza. And she took one bite of her pizza and then she put it back in the box. And I said, "Aren't you talking about how hungry you are? Aren't you going to eat the pizza?" And you know what she said? I kid you not. She said, "I'm gonna take it home. I'm gonna take the rest home with me." Now, mind you, this was the pizza I bought that we were sharing. So you're telling me that the pizza I bought that we're sharing, you just decided you're gonna take it home after I bought this damn pizza. Didn't ask me, didn't say nothing about, didn't talk about splitting the pizza, none of that. So needless to say, it was our only date. I never dated this girl again. I ran as far away as I could. But the thing is that these are real experiences that men have when they go on dates. And the reality is that dating is very expensive. Dating is very costly, and because it can be very expensive, that right there, that fact alone, especially when you are a guy who is trying to get ahead financially, a guy who's trying to watch his money, a guy who's trying to build something, you have to think about how many women you're dating. If you're pursuing a lot of different women, that's going to drain you, not just in terms of money, but also in terms of time. You got to understand. See, I get it. Maybe you know how to date without spending money. Maybe you just, a lot of women will give you what you want if you just send her a couple text messages and talk to her on the phone for a minute. But if it's not draining you in terms of money, it's also draining you in terms of time. And a man who is really trying to aim for the top ain't got a lot of time to be wasting. If you're throwing away time, then you just write yourself off on the list of successful people because you ain't gonna get there, partner. You ain't gonna make it. Yeah, you got to invest your time like you invest in your money. I protect my time. I to this day, I've been doing this for a long time. If I get on the phone with you, it's usually because either I'm making money from the conversation or I really have known you for a long time and you're one of a very small circle of friends or family that I have, or you that's kind of it, actually. That's really it. That's it. Either I love you and know you very well, or we're building something together that is significant. Either something financial or empire building or whatever. That's really it. I'm not wasting time on the phone with you just to chit chat. Also, I'm not when I was single, it's like I had to really understand and decide that this woman was really worth risking the empire for. And I saw the empire before the empire ever came into existence. And so really, when you're letting all these women into the empire, then don't be surprised when the empire gets sabotaged. If you're letting all these people into your kingdom, don't be surprised when one of them brings in a Trojan horse. Because everybody ain't good. Everybody doesn't have your best interest at heart. Everybody with a pretty smile and a nice booty is not going to be your ally for life. Some people are mentally ill. Some people, you let them down or you disappoint them in some way, they're going to do everything in their power to destroy you. They're going to destroy you. So here's the thing. If you look at the number one reason why most great men go down, it's usually because of a woman. Has anybody ever noticed that? That usually when you see a man who's like headed to billionaire status and succeeding at all levels, when he goes down, it's some sort of accusation from a woman, right? It's something that happens. And this ain't blaming women, because you can't blame all women because you chose the wrong women. Let's just be clear. This ain't blaming women. This is blaming the women that you picked. So you thought that because she was cute and had a nice body, that you could trust her. That's what we do. Studies show that men think that beautiful women are more trustworthy. You naturally look at her when she gives you that nice smile, like that lady who jacked the NBA player for all his money. But when you remember that, I forgot her name. Deion Sanders bought her to Jackson State so she could teach him the game. I forgot her name. She was a little cute little girl, pretty as can be, and look as innocent as all get out. And she was somebody say her name for me, please. I can't remember her name. But anyway, so this lady, she dated an NBA player. She was 27 years old, and she pretended to be a 22-year-old. And she dated this guy at the University of Kentucky, and they show her looking all cute in her little Kentucky jersey and all that. Brittany Renner, whatever her name was. Yeah, and she and the guy got her pregnant. And it turned out, I think she's a lesbian or something, at least a part-time lesbian. And she had his baby. And now she's literally going to make probably, $20 million from him without doing any work. Never ain't spent one day in the gym, ain't shot a single jump shot, and didn't invest anything in this man as a human being, but is now going to get to spend her life financially taken care of because she had his baby. And then when you went back and you looked at the archives, you found that she did a video where she said that if you want to have a come up financially, get with athletes because they're dumb. She literally used the word dumb. She said they don't use condoms and they sleep with anything that's cute. Literally. Now, on one hand, I mean, I can't imagine what kind of consequences she might have from the fact that she's let all these nasty men sleep with her without a condom. That's a whole nother conversation. But still, the reality is that this does exist. There are people who particularly look at entertainers and athletes as opportunities to get ahead because the culture does not teach you that a man, that a successful man is supposed to have some level of sexual discipline. I'm not here to tell you that you need to go be a monk. I'm not here to tell you that you have to go get married. I'm not even here to tell you that you have to be monogamous. That's up to you. That's totally up to you. What I am saying is that a smart king is very thoughtful about who he allows in the kingdom. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I know some of y'all want me to say like, oh, everyone should get married like me and everyone should. No, I'm not saying that. I chose to get married because I had a certain strategy and I met a certain woman that made me think on that level. And that's what I chose to do. But I'm not here to tell you to do that. I'm just saying that if you're not strategic, then you're going to lose. If you don't plan ahead and you aren't proactive about all the threats to everything that you have, then you're going to lose everything that you've got. Somebody will come along and take that. There are people that have strategies and game plans built solely on the idea of taking advantage of people who are not thoughtful and vulnerable, or who are not thoughtful about the vulnerabilities that surround them. If you are stupid, then you're going to lose all your wealth, period. I don't care if the NBA signs you to a $100 million contract, you'll have negative $100 million by the time you're done. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want to remind everybody we're doing an event called the Financial Slumber Party on Friday the 13th at 11 p.m. We're going to get together with our pajamas and some popcorn, and I'm going to spend 2 hours turning you into the best investor in your house. If you'd like to join us for that event, just go to boycewatkins.com. Also, the 2023 Black Wealth Calendar is available. If you want to get one of those, you can also get that on my website. So feel free to go take a look at my website if you want to get involved with any of that. So let me tell you a story. I knew a guy who was a smart guy. He actually wasn't he wasn't like a rapper or anything, but he was very appealing to women because he was a good looking guy. And he also had a lot of education. I think he had a PhD and stuff. And he had his way with the ladies. The ladies liked him. And he also had some mom issues. His mother was not the best person ever. And she really kind of disappointed him a lot when he was a kid. So the way he manifests his hurt and his pain was through womanizing. He'd have a new woman every single week. And he really got it in when it came to women. And so one day I saw him and I remember I was like, how you doing, man? He's like, man, he's like, man, I'm not doing so good. And I said, what's going on? And he said, man, these damn women, you know, my daughter's mama, she's money hungry and she won't let me see the baby. And she's doing this and she's doing that and she's doing that. And I was like, wow, like he's telling me this story, really singing the blues. Like he'd have been a good candidate, like for the manosphere. Like he could have done a video about how terrible women are and told the story about his baby mama and everybody would agree with him. And I was just listening to him. And I remember him telling me, I said, well, how did you meet this girl? Like what made you decide that she was going to be the mother of your child? And he said, well, I didn't really plan it. It just kind of happened. And I was like, okay, you know, so that's a part of it, right? Planned Parenthood is important you got to kind of plan these things if you want to do it right. But then again, I get it. Sometimes we just don't think it through. Sometimes sex is not a rational process all the time, right? And then he said that, I kid you not, I remember him saying that the lady, I said, so what is her profession? Is she a professor like you? And he said, no, she's a stripper. And I said, how did a dude who has a PhD end up having a baby with a stripper? And of course, if you have a baby with a stripper, I would not expect that to be an ideal parenting situation. And then when your child is 10, 12 years old and they're like, dang, my daddy is doing well and my mommy's a stripper, I think the kid is going to ask, like, how did this happen? Like, how did this occur? And a lot of this occurs because you end up in these frustrating situations because nobody ever taught you about one fact about being a successful man, which is that most men who are able to be successful and to protect that success have some degree of discipline when it comes to women. They don't just lay down with any pretty girl. You can't just walk up and twerk in front of them and get this man to drop everything he's doing and put everything on the line. You know, a disciplined grown ass man is going to say, thank you. I see what you have going on. I appreciate the offer. Thank you, ma'am. But I'm not going for that. Now, a little boy who ain't never seen nothing or a guy who ain't got nothing, he might go chasing all of that. But the men who are really on top, who really understand, how to protect what they have and who have seen enough and who are thoughtful about things, they're going to say, nah, man, woo, that looks good. Ooh, I'd love to do da. But then they're thinking about all the potential consequences. They're thinking, wait, she could have a disease. She could end up having my baby. It could end up ruining my business. It could end up putting me in a bad situation. And so sometimes maybe for men that don't have the discipline, it could be either from a lack of training or it could be from some sort of issue maybe you had as a child. Maybe if you were abused or if your mother wasn't, was not a good person, then you might have to work through some of that with therapy. But so many men have destroyed all their wealth by letting too many women into their space. And also, the other thing too is that there are 4 things that typically bring a man down. If you want to look at the situations where men had a lot of wealth or a lot of opportunity, like I look at the Tory Lanez situation, I look at what's going on with the rapper Young Thug. I think about rappers who have died young, and starting with Tupac all the way on up. One of the things I notice is that typically there are 4 things that might bring a man down, and maybe I can even add in a 5th. It would usually be related to either sex, drugs, alcohol, or gambling. Right? Either they're sleeping around with so many women that eventually something bad goes down. They get falsely accused. They have a baby with the wrong person or whatever. Drugs just put you out of your right mind. So you end up making bad decisions because your brain is your mind has been altered and you're very vulnerable in that state. Alcohol. I know a lot of Black men who are alcoholics. because it's just passed through our families. I grew up watching a lot of my uncles just drink. And for some reason, I know what it was. I know what led me to not drink so much was my father, who was a recovered alcoholic. He did not want me to do that. So he would tell me real stories about what happens to men when they drink too much. And then the fourth is gambling. Gambling. Antoine Walker used to gamble a lot and spend a lot of his money at the casino. Allen Iverson, also a guy who's made over $100 million, spent a lot of his money at the casino. And I say the fifth thing might be just like what you might call thug life or street life. Like, like you're a rapper and you're making, $100,000 a show. And because you're trying to maintain this image of being the tough guy, you got a gun on your hip, a liquor bottle in the other hand, and you're going around with, just putting yourself in situations that are constantly going to leave you vulnerable. So you go in the club, somebody picks a fight with you, you punch them back. Next thing you know, you're getting sued for $10 million. You're laying down with a bunch of different women. Next thing you know, one of them accuses you of something, and then your reputation's ruined, or you lose a bunch of money because you got to go pay people off. So I would say that culture that they push on you, there's nothing about the culture that is pushed on Black men by mainstream society that is going to lead to a long and prosperous and healthy life. There's just nothing about it. And what is very toxic, and this is what makes me mad at white people that push this crap, is that they don't really want to push the culture to Black men that is going to lead to prosperity, success, health, and happiness. And again, it's not their job to do that. That's fine. But but the reason I have these conversations, even though I know for a fact I've already seen it, I've had men online just attack me relentlessly, calling me everything from a simp to a whatever. And the only reason I can withstand that is because I don't give a shit. Like you're not gonna. I'm a man. What you say isn't gonna hurt my feelings, Kwame Brown. So Kwame did, I think, 12 or 13 videos about me. They probably got over 1 million views. I did not watch one single one of them because I said I stand where I stand. I said what I said. You can get mad about it all day, but right now, if you sat down with me, I can break it all down to you piece by piece and show how it's affecting your life. Why you are sitting there complaining about me instead of actually succeeding in your own life, because this society broke you. This society fed you a bunch of nonsense about what it means to be a man, and now you are sitting there frustrated. So at the end of the day, if Black men don't get it together, if we don't figure things out, if we don't start sort of thinking things through, then you're going to end up in the loser's box every time. You'll be looking like TCU looked when they were playing against Georgia in the national championship, getting their ass kicked on every play because they weren't prepared for that game and they didn't have the talent to match up to the opposition. So the white man is Georgia, your black ass is TCU, and you're losing the game 65-7, and you're mad as hell about it. And I get it that you're mad, but at some point you got to realize, okay, we got to play this game a little bit different if we're going to have a chance to win. Give me a guess if you at least can admit to me that if we don't confront the culture, we will never win this game. Give me a yes if you can agree that if you keep letting white people tell you what it means to be Black, Joe Biden telling you that if you don't vote for me, then you ain't Black, BET saying, well, if you don't support the BET Awards, then you ain't Black, that if we don't change the culture, if we don't confront the culture, you're going to continue to lose. I mean, you just can't tell me something, anything in this culture, in this bullshit culture, excuse my French, that tell me anything about this crappy culture that leads to Black men winning. Show me anything in this culture that leads to Black men prospering. Show me anything in this culture that leads to Black men living a long, healthy life. Show me anything in this culture that leads to Black men being wealthy. Show me anything in this culture that leads to Black men being educated. Show me anything in this culture that leads to Black men being strong fathers. Show me anything in this culture that leads to Black families being stronger. Show me anything in this culture that leads to you even being happy. You ain't even happy. That's why you're sitting in the manosphere complaining like a punk, because you have been tricked into buying into everything that is going to destroy you. Everything that destroys you in terms of your health, you done bought into it. Everything that destroys you in terms of your wealth, you done bought into it. Everything that destroys your relationships, you done bought into it. And then what they do to make it worse is that not after they destroy you, after they teach you to destroy yourself, then they hand you the victim card, and then you run around, I got the victim card. I'm a victim. Look at what they doing to me. Look at what these women are doing to me. These women, all they do to men is da-da-da-da. And look at what the white man doing to me. He doing it. You run around waving this little victim card, and you ain't never sat down and strategically said, every time I do this, every time I run this play, I throw an interception and the other team ends up in the end zone. Every time I make this move, I end up losing, and my record for this season is 1-14. I gotta change my strategy. I have to change me. You want to change everything else in the world except you. Changing you is probably the easiest part of it all, because you ain't gonna change white men. White men ain't gonna stop winning. White men are not gonna stop looking out for white men. Women ain't gonna stop being women. Hoes ain't gonna stop being hoes. Gold diggers are not gonna stop digging for gold. That's what they do. That's their job. That's their top priority. That's what they think. They strategically outmaneuver you every single day. Did you know that there are, I'm not kidding. I was stunned when I found out that there are women that will sit there, and not all women do this. Not all women. I'm not talking about the good women. I'm talking about the dirty ones. They will sit there and they will study these dumbass athletes. Not all of them are dumb. If you're an athlete, I'm not calling you dumb. I'm talking about your dumbass friends. They will study these athletes and study like what kind of women they want, what they like to talk about, how many years of guaranteed salary they got on their last contract, and whether they like jump offs, whether they like women with big booties or small booties. Like, they study all these things, and then they slide into your life because you're not paying attention, you're not aware, and then they come in and they get what they want. They study these things. They study you like a rocket science. And it ain't just, don't blame this all on the black women. The black women, most of the good black women were the ones who held you down, but when you were broke. They were the ones who held you down when you were in the hood. They were the ones who loved you before the white man embraced you. They were the ones who loved you before you got on TV. A lot of times it's these white girls that will do that too. I'm not saying all white women do this, but y'all know what I'm talking about. When these athletes end up next to Becky, you know Becky done studied your ass. She knows how to get access to what you got. And if you didn't have what you had, she wouldn't want nothing to do with you. She would drop your ass back off in the hood and say, I'm going to let you date Shaniqua now because you have no value to me. You're not worth anything to me. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. Do you really see these girls? Do you see the Kardashians going into the hood looking for every black man they can find? Or do you find them dating rappers and athletes? They want black men that have a certain level of prominence and success that can contribute to the Kardashian empire. The Kardashians don't date regular dudes. The Kardashians date Kanye West so they can ruin his life and take his kids and have him run around talking crazy. I said on the phone with I'm sorry. I talked to Kanye on the phone a lot, and he needs help. The brother, if you listening, go see a damn therapist before you ever call me again. You had Tristan Walker, whatever his name is. Then you had the other guy, Travis Scott. His life is ruined after that stupid concert they had where they were worshiping the devil and killing people in the crowd. So he's going to be screwed financially. And you just keep going down the list. They're not looking for regular black dudes. They're looking for the black dudes who have been cultivated to be economic engines in a predominantly white racist society. So at the end of the day, what I'm just saying is that if you just simple message, when you look at scenarios where a man had it all, you look at a Bill Cosby like situation, and you see a man who had it all, who was on top of the world, and he went from having it all to having nothing. 9 times out of 10, it links back to bad choices when it comes to women. It links back to bad choices when it comes to dating. It links back to letting your guard down because the world has made you too comfortable. It links back to you thinking that you are invincible now because you got a record deal, Tory Lanez. Or it leads back to you believing that these things can't happen to you, Deshaun Watson. It leads back to you putting yourself up in this space where you think you can't be touched. And believe me, they're going to touch you. And you have to be on guard. You have to be thoughtful about every single person that you allow into your space. And it's hard. I mean, everybody makes it. Some of this stuff I learned the hard way. I've let the wrong people into my space, and I regretted it. But thankfully, at the very least, I had them at enough of an arm's length distance that I could push them away when I saw some red flags. My wife being next to me, part of the reason I like having my wife next to me is because your wife will protect you. Your wife will keep the lion in the cage and keep you from going in and getting mixed up in situations that might be harmful to you. Right now, me and my wife, we get up every morning. My office is right next to hers. We're both working hard together, making plans together, building an empire together. That's actually that's a lot of fun. So ultimately, I would encourage you to kind of sort of think carefully about that, and don't just buy into this idea that manhood means putting your life and your wealth and your body in jeopardy just because a pretty girl arrived on the scene. You have to be more thoughtful than that. And if you're not thinking it through beyond that, then that might explain some of the challenges you may have. If you're complaining about baby mama issues, well, you pick those babies mamas. If you're complaining about what it's like dating gold diggers, well, you're picking those women. You're dating those women. If you're complaining about where your life is financially and otherwise, well, a lot of times what you do with your time plays a big part in that. And people that are really successful, in my opinion, they protect their time, they protect their energy, they protect their wealth, they protect the stuff that matters to them. What are you protecting? Because I'm gonna tell you, if you're mixing it up with any and everybody, then you ain't protecting nothing. Everything you have is out there for grabs, and to some extent, that's going to eventually catch up with you. So that's my 2 cents. That's I'm sure somebody's going to be offended by it, because sometimes holding ourselves accountable is hard, and I get that. But I'm not really talking to the people that don't get it. I'm really talking to the people that do, and I'm talking to the people that need to hear it. That's why I'm totally fine with going out and taking bullets from all the guys that might have something to say about my perspective, or the women too. I'm willing to take those bullets because I look in the world and I say, damn it, ain't nobody telling these guys this stuff. And then they learn the hard way. They learn after they get sent to prison. They learn after they lose all their money. They learn after they lose everything they work for. And I'm just the guy that's saying, hey, let's listen to a different narrative so that we can end up with a different result. Because if you follow mainstream society as a black man, it is not designed for you to win. They celebrate every single thing that destroys you. You got presidential candidates that will literally ignore the smartest black men in America and then go interview a rapper who raps about killing black people. Like, they literally will sit down with a rapper who brags about killing black people and getting high on drugs, disrespecting women, and throwing his money away and promoting ignorance in the black community. And you think that that's okay. You don't see the sinister nature of this. They want to keep you down. They want to keep you stupid. They want to keep you behind. They want to keep you lost. They want to keep you broke. They want to keep you powerless, because that's how the pimp game works. So I'm just asking you, stop letting these people pimp you. Stop. But you got to start by stop acting like a hoe. Stop letting people put you in the basement and then somehow thinking you're going to end up in the penthouse. If you're living in the basement, then that's where you're always going to be. You have to elevate your consciousness or you will never win. That's my 2 cents for today. I'm done talking. Thank you all for listening. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button if you could before you go. If you know of a young black man who can benefit from this conversation, I would like to ask you if you could share this video with them, because I really share this because I want somebody to just hear these things. My perspective is not always the right perspective. It may be wrong for you, but there are some people out there that I think can use this information. So if you know somebody who can benefit from it, if you could kindly share the video, I would truly appreciate it. Also, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And also feel free to go to my website, boycewatkins.com. If you'd like to take a look at my book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. I'm going to do a book tour this spring. I'm going to go to a bunch of different cities. And so if you'd like for me to actually take you through this book and train you on every single specific thing I write in here, then feel free to do that. That'll be something we're going to do this spring. So if you'd like to, if this can help you, then you're welcome to meet me in person. All right, guys. So please have a good day. God bless you. Thumbs up on your way out the door. And I'll see you guys. Take care now. And I'll see you later. Peace.